Well, doggone it, I got up earlier today, and I guess I just took a lot longer to get ready because I'm leaving the exact same time I left yesterday. But, you know what, I better go back and check and make sure I got everything at my tent site. Pretty sure I did, but I should do a double check. Yeah, looks like everything. Alright, so anyway, but I'm off about 6:30. So that means the sun should come up in, 45 minutes. But I'm on the other side of the mountain, so it's got a little bit further to come up today. So, yeah, maybe 7:30. We'll see. Now I just have to find my trail here in the dark. All right, we're off. Well, I made super good miles yesterday, so I am not so worried about today. I'm just going to take it easy when it gets hot, and until then, I'm going to try to truck it as best I can without falling over something in the dark. Whew. All right, well, the sun still isn't fully up yet, but man, it's cold. Even had to have my gloves on today. In fact, it's cold enough that I even, I would sleep with my, not always, but if it's cold, I sleep with my water filter in my sleeping bag, as everyone does, just so it doesn't freeze overnight and render it useless. But this morning, when I got up, it was still hovering right around, maybe slightly under 32, so I stuffed it in my pants pocket here, which isn't good enough if the temperatures were, down in the 20s or whatever. Just, the little bit of my thigh through my pants wouldn't necessarily keep it warm enough, but since it's that close, no worries. Anyway, it was a cold night last night, and I slept horribly. I laid down, fell asleep, probably slept 4 hours, just bam. And then I woke up and just tried to go back to sleep. And I thought I heard something outside, and then for the next at least 2 hours, I just kept falling asleep and abruptly waking back up, from some kind of weird little dream. You've had those jump dreams. I bet I had 15 of those. I mean, the weirdest thing, and they were all different little things, nothing particular, just the strangest thing. And then in between, at one point, I did hear an animal outside, something kind of medium size, thumping around, and so I yelled at that a little bit, and then dozed off and woke up again really abruptly, and then yelled at it again, and it finally scurried off. Anyway, whatever, I finally fell back to sleep, and I maybe got another 3 hours, something. So, if this was my regular life, that wouldn't be too bad. But out here right now, my body's doing a lot of healing overnight. I needed more sleep than that for sure. But anyway, got a good start this morning, and it was cold enough that, I haven't experienced this for quite a while, but cold enough that I was moving fast this morning. Fast as I could move just to stay warm, which is kind of a good feeling, it keeps you warm, and also you're making a lot of miles going really, really fast. So, yeah, that was great, and I don't know, sun should be up in, not sure, next 20, maybe 30 minutes, something like that. I guess that's all I have to say for now. Bye. Gorgeous, isn't it? peeking up just in time for me to walk over this hill and have it disappear again. That little sun on the back of my head for 45 seconds. Okay, maybe that was more like a minute and a half. Well, two things happened after I stopped and got water and then crossed this big highway. One, it got markedly colder. I just taken all my warm stuff off, and I'm leaving it off because it's going to get hot, 5 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever it is. But man, it got a lot colder. I mean, it probably dropped 15 degrees just like that. And the other thing was, I don't know if you saw it, you might have to rewind. There was like a real trail with grass on the sides of it and stuff. So that was nice. I was hoping it was going to continue that way all the way through here, but nope, back to the norm. Wow, what a sparse landscape. I am going to be hiking in this for a long time today. No idea how many miles it is to those mountains, but it's a lot. Anyway, well, I just popped on here because I've been thinking the last couple days why I bonked so bad on day 2 at the end of the day. Obviously I was tired and it was hot and all that stuff, but the more I think about it, I think it was a combination of those things and the altitude, and probably the altitude being the biggest one, because I was having such a hard time over the climbs. And it's not super high out here. It's about 4,500 feet on average, but I live my daily life slightly below 1,000 feet, so it's definitely something that'd be noticeable. Not enough that you'd ever get like altitude sickness or anything, but enough that you'd have a harder time when you came out here. So you couple that with the fact that it's so dry, my body's trying to figure out how to hydrate, and my extreme lack of sleep coming in on the bus, which just exacerbates altitude issues. I think that's probably it. You'd think I'd already been out here a full day and a half, really slightly more. You'd think that I would have acclimatized by then, but like I say, with the lack of sleep, I know that can really add to the problem. So anyway, I think that's probably what it was, and now I'm doing a little better, so that's good. Now if I just get in shape, I'd be set. So yesterday, I saw my very first clouds out here. You might have seen them in the video, just a couple of wisps out in the middle of nowhere. Today, they have built up a little bit, even enough that it's keeping the sun down a little. So, nice cool breeze, and it's keeping me from sweating too much. And yeah, it's pretty nice. So hopefully that'll hold out for a while. I wish the trail was better marked, because I'm afraid I'm gonna fall off a cliff I don't see, or get lost in the trees or something here. Oh well, I guess that's a risk I have to take. So up ahead is a cluster called the Pyramid Mountains. I bet you can guess why they're called that. It looks like I'm gonna get to work my way around the right side somewhere, kind of go around behind them. Doesn't look like maybe I'll get very much elevation, if any, but at least I'll get into something I can see other than gravel. And then what? Let me see. Maybe I have another 10 miles today, maybe not quite. Maybe 9, something like that. Anyway, right now at this point, I'm about 20 miles from Lordsburg, from the very southern sort of outskirts. Maybe another half mile or whatever to get into where the Econo Lodge is, where I left my resupply box, and see if anything else is open. But anyway, so I'm getting there. By the end of the day, I'll only be, I don't know, 9-10 miles away, probably 10 miles, something like that. So yahoo! Pretty sure you probably can't see that, but those are antelope over there, or pronghorn or something of the sort, way off. Wish I was closer to them. Man, they're tearing though. I don't know what they're trying to get away from. Ah, cool. Wish I would have seen them sooner. Well, getting closer to the Pyramid Mountains. Still gonna be a while. Stopped here. There's another one of these electric wells filling up a cow tank. So about the same as yesterday, all sorts of algae in it and stuff, things swimming in it and whatever, but filtered the water out and it's good. I'm ready to go, but my feet are throbbing. So it's definitely my weak point today. So I'm just kicking back and gonna rest them for a little bit. I'll head off. I'm about 12 miles in, got about 17 miles to Lordsburg. So I'll probably do another 7 today. There's water at 6.9. So yeah, I carried, gosh, the last water I got was 10 miles ago. I got 2 liters and I used about 2/3 of a liter. I don't know why. Just didn't need it. It's not that hot today, and whatever, my body's working efficiently or something. But anyway, so I carried all that I didn't need to carry. And now I've got another 7, but I'm going to stop and have lunch. I feel like the water is maybe only about 85% sure that it's there and good and accessible and all that. So I'm probably going to carry 2 liters to there, because there's a little more water, like a mile and a half after that, and then more water another 2 miles after that. So I mean, if I had to, I could just keep trucking, slowly at night and get there. So anyway, yeah, exciting stuff, huh? All right, I'm too lazy to get up, but I think what I've figured out is in just about 7 miles. So that is called Rimrock Mountain. That's the little flat one in front off to the left. And then, of course, Pyramid Mountain. And the trail goes right in between the two of them. And 7 miles ends up right in there. So hopefully I'm going to tent right in there somewhere. But the problem is there's a road. And the trail actually is the road. Now, is it a road or is it a dirt road? I don't know. So I'm not sure how far I'll have to hike off the trail to find a good spot to tent. But anyway, my hope is that I can get back in there, and that's where I'll stay tonight. And that would be a lot better than just staying out here. So yeah, right on. All right, it's lunchtime. I just crossed this wash, and there's really no shade out there in that scrub, but found a nice little place here with this winter sun. Gives me enough of an angle I can figure out a place to sit in there and cool off. All right, finally gonna get up in the foothills a little bit. Yeah. All right, that's that foothill kind of that I went through just a bit ago. And this, oh, where's my hat? This is that front, I don't even remember what it was called, but that mountain in front is kind of at a diagonal that we're gonna go around. So we're going around that now. I see like a mountain goat or something up there. It could just be a deer. I don't actually know what's out here. I think it is just, yep, it's a deer for sure. See it up there on top? A mountain goat. What am I thinking? Well, that's cool though. Prancing along. Just in time for Christmas. I saw a Prancer. Anyway, so yeah, we're working my way around this here. And then you can see the pyramid obviously back there. And we'll go around that. So anyway, that's what I was excited about before I saw that deer. Well, that is Dog's Head, which from a distance I couldn't really figure that out. But as I get closer, I think I can see that. Although it kind of looks like the whole dog to me. The top left part is his head. If I'm seeing it right. That flap of rock is kind of makes his ear on the top left, and also kind of his eyes. And then his nose is sort of that big diagonal shadow that's there. I don't know. And he's sort of sitting down looking at us. I'm not sure I have that right, but anyway, that's Dog's Head. And there is Pyramid Mountain. And some kind of metal thing. I don't know what that's all about. Probably has to do with water. Everything out here is either natural or it has to do with water. Like I said, it's just a little gate to let you through and not the cows. See, I know what I'm talking about. Look at this glorious tree out here in the desert. Oh my gosh. Makes me want to stop right here and make that my tent site for the night, but it's not time to stop yet. Wow, that thing is magnificent. Actually, did I get off the trail? Maybe I'm supposed to walk right by that thing. We'll see. We're going to anyway. Look at that. Oh. All right, well, I'm in between the two mountains. Here's that front mountain on the left. And this is the road I was talking about, so not a highly traveled road, but there are some water tanks down there, so somebody comes down, a farmer every once in a while to, check on them or whatever. And then there's Pyramid Mountain over there. So, lots of big trees around. My final water source of the day is, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile up here. And I'm just going to find a place to tent near there. So I'm in hopes that I'll find a really great spot. This looks nice back here. Might even find a tree to camp under. Okay, well, this is my water source. And I think I'm in luck. There have been some reports occasionally of some of these having some bowls hanging around them, and you gotta really watch yourself. But I came up here and I see these 4 hanging out. I thought, oh no, but I think they're all cows, and they all, as soon as I came up, they all moved towards the back. So regardless, they're afraid of me, which is a good thing. So, plus I don't need a lot of water. I just need enough to get me through the night. There's a water cache 3 miles up the road, so if I can just get a liter, yeah, these guys are just some cows who don't want to mess with me and don't want to be messed with. All right, well, that was uneventful. They just hung out over there and watched me a little bit. Now they're more comfortable. Anyway, apparently this is fed here, so just threw my bag in there and scooped a little out. Came over here and filtered it. Ready to roll. Bye, girls.